and the best dwellings in the gardens of paradise. But beyond that, above all of that, what is more important is وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. The pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as His righteous people, that is even beyond the Jannah, even beyond the great gardens and the dwellings which Allah has prepared for the believers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ذَلِكَ وَالْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ, and this is the greatest success. So this is the highest success the believers can achieve, to have the ridwan min Allah, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we'll talk a little bit in the light of Quran and Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that should be our ultimate objective in everything what we do in this life. All the ibadat that we do, the dealing with the people, the mu'amalat we do, or anything else, in the back of our mind, the purpose must be to achieve the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ridwan min Allah, wa dhalika wal akbar, wa dhalika wal fawz al azim. And this is the highest degree of success. On the other hand, we find in Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the example of those who are focusing the purpose of their life to achieve this dunya, to achieve the material wealth and the comforts and the luxury of this dunya. That is all their purpose is. And everything else, even their religion, even their deen, is focused upon that. When the deen helps them to achieve the notoriety, the fame, and the wealth, they go for that. And that's what puts them in the category of munafiqun, or the hypocrites. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse 204 and 207 gives us the example of these two characters. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a beautiful manner, He gives us these two models so that we can look at our lives, that where are we heading to? Which kind of a model we are following? Are we following the model of those who have the hubb al-dunya, the love of this dunya and its material wealth? Are we following the model of those who want the ridwan min Allah, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and fawz al-azim in the hereafter? So in these two ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يُعْجِبُكَ قَوْلُهُ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَيُشْهِدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا فِي قَلْبِهِ وَهُوَ رَدُّ الْخِصَامِ. The translation is, amongst the people, there are those whose words in this life attract you. They have very beautiful speech. They can talk to people in a very convincing manner. And it looks like they are talking something good. And they even make Allah as their witness. That Wallahi, what I'm saying is truth. Wallahi, every sentence starts with Wallahi. So that the people believe them, what the statement they are making. But in their heart, they are such people who are stiff-necked and quarreling. وَهُوَ أَلَدُّ الْخِصَامِ. أَلَدُّ الْخِصَامِ are the people who are very stubborn in the disobedience of Allah, in loving this dunya and nothing else. وَإِذَا تَوَلَّى سَعَى فِي الْأَرْضِ لِيُفْسِدَ فِيهَا وَيُهْلِكَ الْحَرْثَ وَالنَّسْلَ. And when they fight in the way, in this dunya, they fight only to achieve the benefits of this dunya. They cause fasad fil ard. They destroy the human being. They kill them. Mass killing, mass destruction happens in the hand of such people. They are the ones who use weapons of mass destruction, but they accuse others that there are others who are doing it, and we're doing it to create peace And some of them are given a Nobel Peace Prize even. Such a irony we see in our dunya today. These ayat, as if they are revealed today. This is the miracle of Quran. Even though they were revealed 1400 years ago, but we can see such characters around us today, that they think that they are the peacemakers. Even they are awarded the peace prizes. But what they're doing, they're destroying human beings, countries after countries. They're destroying the nas wal hars, as Quran says, the places where bombing has took place, no crops can grow there. There's so much poison. And the human beings are killed in a massive way. Wallahu la yuhibbul fasad, and Allah does not love this kind of corruption which is spread by such people. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُ اتَّقِ اللَّهَ أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ فَحَسْبُهُ جَهَنَّمُ وَلَبِئْسَ الْمِهَادُ. And when they are told that fear Allah and the arrogance comes in their way, for such people hell is enough for them, and they will be indeed in an evil place in the hellfire. So this is one character. The people who claim in beautiful speeches and presentations, oh, we are peacemakers, all we want is peace, we don't want no death and destruction, we are doing surgical strikes. That's what the word they use. The surgical strikes, and we want the minimal civilian destruction, although on the ground the reality is different. We find thousands and thousands of people who die, and the crops, they are destroyed, the dwellings, the houses, even the Masjid, the worship places, they are leveled down. So this is the fasad fil ard, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. On the other hand, is a different character. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَءُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. On the other hand, you find people who sell everything, their life, their property, belongings, everything in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to achieve the pleasure of Allah. All they do is good to themselves, to their family, to the society at large, and they work in the cause of Allah to make the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as prevalent. The haqq of the deen of Islam to be prevalent in the society through their words, through their actions, through other activities. They want the truth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be known, and the people to build their lives in accordance with Islam. And that's what all they want, and in return they don't want no notoriety, they don't want no fame, they don't want any material rewards, a leadership, or anything. They only want the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ridwan min Allah, and the fawz al-azim which Allah has promised. So such are the people who are going to be successful. So there are two characters which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us here. So even amongst the people who call themselves as mu'minun or muslimun, there are two types of people. One is a hypocrite or a munafiq. Of course, we don't know, and we cannot label anybody as a munafiq. Only Allah knows the heart, but we can tell from the actions. We can sense from the actions. We are not to close our eyes and ears. Those who are running after this dunya and the fame, notoriety, and the money, all they want is to fatten their bank balance. That's how the interest is, at the expense of the human being's interest. And we find such leadership amongst the Muslims, that the masses are suffering, but the leaders, they're getting richer and richer every day. Such are the people who are hypocrites. They cause fasad fil ard in order to benefit themselves. And on the other hand, they're sincere believers, and they're the one who are successful in this dunya and the akhirah. And there are examples in the Seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where these ayat were revealed. It is stated that there was a hypocrite, Akhnas ibn Shuraiq, and he used to be very eloquent in his speech, in his presentations. He would come to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and impress him with his allegiance for Islam. But soon he walked out from that company, he would plot against Muslims. And so the ulama of tafsir say these ayat originally came to warn such kind of people who come to you with one speech, one face, and they turn around and they have a different face. On the other hand, the true believers, the Mufassirin say it refers to Suhaib al-Rumi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The Suhaib Rumi, when he was going to do the hijrah, migrate to Medina, the band of Makkans, they came and they surrounded him and they said, "Oh Suhaib, how are you going to leave from here? You came here to live amongst us, to earn a lot of money and this and that. We're not going to let you go." So Suhaib Rumi radiyallahu anhu, he talked to them. He said, "Look, I have a lot of arrows, I have my sword. I'm going to fight with you. Before I get killed, I'm going to take many of you with me. But I will make a deal with you. I have some gold and money in Mecca. I will tell you where it is. And you take all that and you let me go. Then you'll be safe and I'll be safe." So he gave all what he had in Mecca, in his possession. He had some property, he had some money and everything. So they said, "All right, we agree. You give us that and we'll let you go." And so he did that, and when he reached Medina and he talked to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then he said 2 times, "Oh Abu Yahya, you have made a profitable deal. Your deal was profitable, O Abu Yahya." That was his kunya. That you made a very profitable deal. You only gave just a meager material wealth, and you came in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safe and sound. So your deal was very profitable. So these ayat, they apply to him, but they apply to everybody else who prefers the akhirah and ridwan min Allah over this dunya. So how to achieve the ridwan min Allah, how we can achieve that? And the scholars tell us there are 2 main ways. One is ikhlas lillah. Everything what we do sincerely for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And second is the obedience and following of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in every matter without making any innovation or bid'ah. Just follow the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and you will find the ridwan min Allah and the Jannah. And we find the earlier Muslims, our Aslaf, the Sahaba ridwanullah alayhim ajma'in, the Tabi'een wa Tabi'een, they followed these 2 lines. First, everything what they did was sincerely 100% for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They put the pleasure of Allah above everything. And they did not leave the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As a result, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them what was given to them. Even in this dunya, although the promise of the akhirah is there, that they'll be in the Jannah, they'll be having the best dwellings in the Jannah and ridwan min Allah. But even in this dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the highest honor. They were given the rule, the khilafah, upon not only Arabia, but they were given the victory over the two major world powers, the Romans and the Persians of their time. And what was this due to? And it was only due to ikhlas lillah, following the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in every matter, to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And about the ikhlas, there are many hadiths, and one very famous hadith of Umar bin Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, which many muhaddiseen, they make this hadith to be the first hadith in their book. The Bukhari, the Muslim, they make it the first hadith. And we all know, it's a famous hadith, that Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu reported that the actions are by their intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. Whatever your niyyah is, you get the reward. And then there is an explanation. Whether it's a hijrah, whether it's a ibadah, the sadaqah, If it is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you get reward. If not, then there is no reward. The second thing is the true ittiba' and true following of the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As we are told in Surah Al Imran, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. Tell them, if you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you follow me. That's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You follow me, then Allah will love you and forgive all your sins. And therefore we are told in Quran, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gives you, you take it and hold fast to it. And whatever he forbids, you stay away from it. And there is a hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam reported by Aisha radiallahu anha, قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس فيه فهو رد. He said that whoever innovates something which is not in our deen, then that is rejected. Anybody creates something new in the deen, that is to be rejected and it is not to be accepted. So therefore you are to stick to the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether it is aqidah, whether it is ibadat, whether it is judgment or daily life, in the speech, in silence, in the zikr of Allah, in sleeping, in waking up, in all these matters. If we hold fast to the sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether it is a small sunnah or a major sunnah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will love you. And once Allah loves some individual, then as we read and understood in another hadith, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects our ears, our eyes, our feet, our actions, and they all come in accordance to, they become in accordance with the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are told in Surah Al-Hujurat, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُقَدِّمُوا بَيْنَ يَدَيِ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. O believers, do not go beyond Allah and the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you should have fear of Allah. So we are not to contradict the sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and hold fast to it. And what are the ways, what are the things which can help us in order to stay on the path of ikhlas and the path of ittiba' Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? First and the foremost is the ilm, the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah. And with that, the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in Quran, Surah Al-Anfal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِن تَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ فُرْقَانًا. O believer, if you have taqwa of Allah, then Allah will give you a furqan. Furqan is a criterion which comes with the knowledge and taqwa of Allah. Criterion of right and wrong. So in every step, when you are presented with a choice, you choose the right over wrong. This is the furqan min Allah, which is given to the people of iman wa taqwa and with the ilm. In one hadith, Rasulullah said, and Rasulullah sallallahu قال إنما هما اثنتان الكلام والهدي فأحسن الكلام كلام الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا وإياكم فمحدثات الأمور فإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. We hear this in the khutbah of the imams, and these are from the khutbah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said there are two things which are beautiful, and one is kalam and one is hidayah, the guidance. The kalam is the kalamullah, al-Quran is the most beautiful in this whole universe. And the second is the hidayah, and the best hidayah is the hidayah given to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And anybody who makes anything new in that is to be rejected. And the ilm of Quran and Sunnah is something which we must always try to achieve. This is not only for the scholars. Every Muslim must struggle to get the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah. As in Surah Al-Zumar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Tell them, can the people who achieve knowledge and those who don't have knowledge be equal? The answer is no. Those who have the ilm, they are at a higher level in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than those who don't have the knowledge. And knowledge of the ilm is actually the inheritance of the Anbiya alayhi salam. In one hadith, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam has reported, has said, عن أبي الدرداء رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن العلماء ورثة الأنبياء وإن الأنبياء لم يورثوا دينارا ولا درهما وإنما ورثوا العلم فمن أخذه أخذ بحظ وافر. The ulama, the scholars, the people of knowledge, they are the ones who are heirs of the Anbiya alayhi salam. They have the inheritance of Anbiya alayhi salam. So just like you and me may have some money in the bank and some properties, this is our virasa, which our children may or may not get, only Allah knows. But the Anbiya alayhi salam, they don't leave behind any property or money or anything. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at the time when he died, there was a little dispute. And at that dispute, Sayyidina Fatima radiallahu anha and some of the relatives, they came to claim for the inheritance. And then at that time this hadith was reported that the Anbiya alayhi salam, they don't have inheritance. Whatever there was, it belonged to Baytul Mal. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he did not give anything, but Umar radiallahu anhu, when the claim came again, he again quoted the same thing. But then he said, I can make you a wali over there. You take care of it, and then you can get something in return out of that for your own maintenance. But there is no viratha of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is no inheritance, but I can give you something that you can take care of it, and then you can get some money out of it to take care of your family. So this is the ilm which Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has left for us. The hadith and the hikmah which he has taught. And we should be haris, we should be very greedy to get more and more of that. But unfortunately, these books are sitting in our closets, and we look at them once in a while, but we do not make much effort, just like we make the effort for our professional books. Day and night, you and me, we have been studying big voluminous books to succeed in our professional exam and this and that. But have we given even 1/10 or 1/100th of that time to study the virasa, the inheritance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? This is such a shame that we don't pay that much attention. This is with us, and so we need to turn to Quran and Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The other thing that will help us to get ahead in the path of achieving the ridwan min Allah is the trust in Allah, tawakkul ala Allah, and the yaqeen upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on what He has given to us. Everything what is with us is from Allah. We should express our shukr. And then zuhud. Zuhud means that our purpose of life should be akhirah. We may have something in this dunya, we may not have anything, or we may have a lot of it. But that should not be the purpose of this life. In Surah Al-Isra, verse number 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةَ وَسَعَى لَهَا سَعْيَهَا وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَأُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ سَعْيُهُمْ مَشْكُورًا. Whose desire is success in the hereafter, and he strives for it, then he is a believer. These are the ones whose striving shall find favor with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are hadiths and the ayat of Quran, they point to this thing, that our purpose in life should be and must be, of course, success in the hereafter through achieving the ridwan min Allah, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This should be done with ikhlas. This should be done by following the Sunnah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, avoiding all kind of bid'at, all kind of innovations which people fall into. And we should seek help with those characteristics which help us to go forward in the path of Allah, and their ilm of Quran and Sunnah, which is the true inheritance from Anbiya alayhi salam, and the taqwa of Allah, and the tawakkul ala Allah, and the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon what He has given, And last but not the least, zuhud, there is no love for this dunya, but the love for the akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help and guide us that we follow these instructions in the Quran and Sunnah. May Allah grant us His ridwan min Allah and success in this dunya and the akhirah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين واستغفر إنه الغفور الرحيم.